Hello, good morning. Today, in this new chapter of Indie Talks, we have with us Laurent Picciotto from Chronopassion Boutique, considered a reference in the sale of independent watch brands, a pilgrimage site for all the lovers of these brands, and perhaps the great promoter, discoverer, and trendsetter of independent brand. His boutique is where dreams of toys of grown-up children come true. Welcome, Laurent. It's a pleasure to have you here. Bonjour, and just let's go
Bonjour.
with my first question. For those that may not know you well, who is Laurent Picciotto, and what sparked your interest in watchmaking, and especially for independent brands?
Well, I'm still a kid, so I I like toys, even toys for adult now, of course. And I'm interested by a lot of subjects because the curiosity is is always my priority.
Mhm.
And the best feeling in life, at my opinion, is to be astonished. And if you're curious on many subjects, sometime and quite often in our industry, you can be astonished quite often, which is cool. So I opened my shop in 1988, so 36 years ago. Uh, with I mean, for the first 2 years, it was the beginning of the adventure. It was I was a monobrand store with Gérald Jantat, so it was an independent already,
Mhm.
and probably one of the the most curious independent, especially at that time because the market, of course, was totally different. That uh, I mean, compared to today, and it was the beginning of the adventure.
Mhm. I know that beside watchmaking, you have two other passions. What are those passions? Tell us a little bit.
But when I see the helmets
Yeah.
behind you, um, I got approximately, I mean, the same number, I mean, on the wall.
Uh huh.
So motorbikes, cars, electric guitar, and leather jacket,
Uh
and I mean, a lot of disease. Uh,
huh. That's what we have all watch collectors. I think that watchmaking and motor they are connected.
but as I told you, I mean, the curiosity drive me also to new subjects quite often because with our customers, that they got a lot of disease too.
Hmm.
If I'm discovering or talking with, for example, Japanese customers not a long time ago, and he was explaining me about his collection, about the radio between 1966 to 1973, and he got like 1,000 of them. Of course, I started to read about that, to look at the subject, and of course now I'm not looking at this kind of radio with the same eyes than before. So it could be a new danger. So no, I like stuff, and I like, of course, because stuff is interesting. Of course, I mean, the object is interesting, but this is interesting also because behind the objects there is crazy people. I mean, and that's the package of that. We would drive my interest on many subjects.
Okay. Then what motivates you to establish Chronopassion? Because you have been always interested in watchmaking?
As you mentioned, um, same story for me. My father was I mean, he didn't like the term of collector because
Hmm.
he used to think that collector meaning a dependence. And I say I'm more an accumulator. Okay. And when I was 12, um, around 12, sometime I was with him to a workshop to see what is new. And sometime it was, one of the first experience that I remember. It was 72. We went to the Place Vendôme at the first level of the Chaumet boutique. At that time, it was a multi-brand store named Les
Mhm.
Temporels, and we were. I mean, it was there to look at the first Royal Oak on the market. And well, of course, at that time, kids was on the reserve. I mean, I didn't talk. I didn't touch anything. I was like, really on his side.
Mhm.
But my feeling that day was really, I was impressed because for me, it was really like a watch coming from the future. And my father was totally in love with the watch, and we all remember that at that time it was a lot of money,
Mhm.
even if compared to, I mean, compared with today, it doesn't make sense. But at that time it was a lot of money, and he said, "Okay, I will think about it," and he bought it in '74, and my father passed away also, and this dialogue was with the double signature with Chaumet and Audemars Piguet, and
Mhm.
I didn't know. I just discovered it that even if I bought it 2 years later than that compared to the launch, it was a number.
Mhm.
So, and some of the time we went to Geneva, looking at the watches on the Rue du Rhône, asking questions with most of the time not a lot of 100% correct answer. So that's why later on, after after different profession, one day I talk with my father and I say, okay, maybe I have to open a shop. That it could be the shop that we we were looking after, because we cannot really find a store like that uh, at the end of the 80s. And well, for him, he said this is not reasonable because, okay, you like watches but you don't know nothing about, this kind of business. But he said, but why not? If you want to do it.
Mhm.
And it start that way. Just like that. And of course, if we go back in the past, at that time the market was, quite low first. But the other fact, I mean, shop carrying only watches didn't did not really exist.
Mhm.
As usual, through the tradition, the watches was with the jewelry shop, um, and and finally they were not really concerned for most of them because the vocation they have was really for stones. It was part of the game, but most of the time it was not really the priority for them. It was just because it was the tradition to carry watches also and watchmaking. And
Mhm.
finally, when I opened only with watches, most of the people, in France, say, "You nuts! It's not reasonable." Plus, you open with Gérald Jantar, which is probably one of the most unknown brand in at the end of the 80s, and probably also the most expensive.
Mhm.
But I didn't have a business plan. It was really the motivation of passion, and and my feeling was okay. We are probably not alone to love watches, and probably love also the brands who is not most of the time the major brands.
Hmm.
So we'll see, and I started like that. So it was really an improvisation.
Hmm. It should have been amazing, not to start working with Gerald Genta, who has been one of the most, probably the most important designer of watches in the history. No, how was Mr. Genta?
Wow. It was really it's very difficult to describe, but it was it was really several people in the same person.
Hmm.
First of all, the talent that he got was amazing, because he was able to drawing watches like that at the demand of another brand. He could spend the night and just realize a full collection. On the other hand, in term of business, it was really tough, because he doesn't want to talk about business.
Hmm.
So it was sometimes quite difficult for me and for other people to work with Gerald, because Gerald consider him himself as the godfather of design. So we have a lot of arguments sometimes about pure business. Okay, what is the price of that? This is this price. You received the piece. The piece was much more expensive. So, it's not possible to follow you. And he say, Gerald Genta is doing what he wants. Say, okay, but we got agreement, etc. I said, I don't care. So several sides, but at the end of the day, he got a such a special talent that I always say that if he didn't appear, we were, I mean, even today, without Janta, maybe most of the market will be with round watches with a laser band, and that's it.
Yeah.
So the creativity was enormous, and all the story that he tell me at that time was totally amazing. And the customer in the 90s of Gerald Janta was really it was quite different of the people of today. You got like uh, Formula One driver, uh, tennis player, but after a lot of people from the industry, from the finance, etc., people from Hollywood, and the group was really, the diversity of the people was amazing.
Hmm.
But they were all in love with the Genta watches. And I remember a party in Monaco where I lived. The spirit was really something, really
Hmm.
fun, friendly, and with a lot of passion. So it
Hmm.
was it was a big chance to spend so many times with him. At the right beginning, I was in Switzerland because he wanted that I can feel the watchmaking spirit in the factory. So I spent a month and a half during the summer with the watchmaker, with him, and we have lunch every couple of days, and he tried to give me all the different aspect of the business. So it was very interesting, and I still have a very good relationship with Evelyn Janta today, and we and with different projects that we will probably talk later. We were in a meeting some month ago with
Hmm.
Evelyn, and so it was really the first step for me to be involved in this
Hmm.
business.
Okay. Laurent, considering that you have your shop in your boutique in Paris with
Mhm.
a lot of tourists, with a lot of watch lover, it has helped you to become known among the watch lovers more than being in another country, in another city, smaller.
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I'm not sure because when we with the usual suspect from the retail, I'm always discussing with the big one, meaning the Hourglass in Singapore, West Time in Los Angeles, Sediki in Dubai, and we were part of, a watchmaking gang, most of the time helping new people, etc. And finally, when I look at them, I think they do much more business than us uh, because they are not in Paris.
Hmm.
Meaning what? Meaning that the French market is a redistribution market, meaning that the French people, they buy watches, but not as the level of people from Singapore,
Yeah.
Dubai, Los Angeles, and probably Spain.
Yeah.
So
Sure. Mm.
so if I used to be in one of these country, I think um, the story must be probably different. I think the notoriety was much more close of what I did, meaning okay, only watches. I don't care about the brands. The rules is much more okay. Choosing a brand is more okay. What this watch is bringing to the cause in terms of design, technique, both. Uh, we want to surprise our customer, our um, uh, addicts, lovers about watches. So, and I start that way, and I think it was part of the notoriety of there is a weird store in Paris. I heard about that. Before the internet, I used to receive some facts from people say, "Oh, a friend of mine told me that your shop is special. This is what I have. This is what I want to see." And most of the time, I was answering, "Okay, we got most of the pieces that you're looking for, and about the typology of what you like, I have to show you also this, and this."
Hmm.
And most of the time, they say, "Wow, okay, next time I will be in Paris, I will come to visit you." Well, of course, the internet changed the game later on, but so I think it was really the singularity. Every time I'm traveling, and I go back and I look at my window, I say I'm crazy because the if you do a business plan, you don't go that way. I mean, you
Hmm.
do the major brands, uh, the better you can with the best service, etc. But you don't do the selection we do, especially also because the legitimacy for retailers is to buy what the people and the customers ask for. Me, most of the time, and I was at the beginning of a lot of the adventures with brands, was really to be at the beginning of a story and say, okay, we have to build the brand with the brand, and of course, it will be much more longer than if we take the the brand that everyone know.
Yeah.
But
Already established brands. Yeah.
of course, so for me, but the trick is I was much more concerned about these brands compared to the institutionals. So uh, the be not reasonable is much more the line of the business plan. This is just to follow the emotion, the knowledge, and the feeling that we can have with watches.
Hmm. Laurent, considering that Chronopassion was born in 1986,
Hey,
how? Yeah. How do you see the evolution? How has changed Chronopassion? And also, have you seen the evolution of the market? There is much more interest in the new customers for the independent brands.
Sure. Well, if I mean, in 36 years, everything changed. Of course, I mean the mutation of the distribution. And I used to open also mono brand store beside Chronopassion, one of the first AP shop in 97, the first Hublot shop in 2007, and the first MBNF lab 2 years and a half now.
Mhm.
But the distribution when I started was totally different. Now most of the brands are also retailers, so it's not the same story. The second very important point was the internet. I mean, internet, of course, make a revolution for everyone, not only in our industry but for all the industry, because in one moment we can have like a worldwide window. And because of that, because when I was talking about the fax, when I tried 35 years ago to send a picture to a guy, I don't know where, and he just received like a black, a black watch, and say, okay, I have to come. So now everything is going quick. The social media change also everything. People are much more educated because they can find all the information that they want on your website or others. So it's a fantastic earthquake about what it used to be and what it is now. Um, and about independent, I would say that at the beginning of the year 2000, we can feel that there is a lot of different projects, different motivation about a lot of people who are already in the industry or not to do something, because the subject was at one moment kind of revelation for a lot of people. Oh, there is strange people who build crazy watches in the mountain in Switzerland with prices that the public cannot expect. So Jean-Claude Biver did a lot about that.
Yeah.
It was for a lot of people a new subject. It was like, wow. A lot of people was like, I didn't know that it could exist. And at the beginning of 2000, I start to be co-founder and shareholder of Richard Mille brand, and it was probably quite quickly the trust for a lot of other people to go further and to say, okay, Richard is growing quite well. Um, we are watchmaker. We have really special pieces. Maybe we can try because there is probably also a place for us. So we were beside a lot of different people like Urwerk, later on MBNF, and some people like, I mean, later we of course we joined Mother, but we were also choosing, people a little more in the shadow.
Mhm.
Uh, Even now, we still continue to carry new people, and this is quite interesting to see, since, let's say, recently, probably 3 or 4 years, much more interest on this segment. And I
Mhm.
think this new interest is well, because of the media, but also because when you collect, of course, but this is true for the helmets, the cars, or whatever. When you collect, you start, of course, in your initiation to collect what most of the people know. And year after year, you start to be much more focused. And at one moment, you look over the wall and you say, oh, there is also some people a little in the shadow, or I didn't know them. And you discover that there is fantastic people who do absolutely stunning pieces. And at one moment, we got a lot of example of different customers that they used to collect all the institutional brand, and one day they discovered this side of the watchmaking, and they changed completely. I mean, the evolution was like, okay, institutional was before, but now I'm much more focused because there is a lot to see. There is and there is a lot of audacity, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and innovation. So it brings a lot of people who are, I mean, really big collector to say, okay, I don't want to wear the same watch as most of the people, but plus I can find much more technical pieces,
Mm-hmm.
much more innovation, um, revolution about the design, because the audacity of the independent is not the same. If you compare our institutional brands, there is some institutional branch, they don't move a lot because they're afraid to move because of the history, and because they say, oh, maybe we will trouble our customer list. So the liberty, the freedom that we can find with independent, at my opinion, is one of the big reason that you we got much more people coming to this segment.
Mm-hmm. I always said to my French collectors that once you cross the line and you get into the dark side of independence, you never come back.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Plus, we can say also, um, I mean, because this is true, the because a lot of major brands also are now also a retailer. Uh, there is also a lot of people that they do not accept the way the treatment of the customer is sometimes very bad with monobrand institutional brands, and it participates also to the reason at one moment they say, okay, I'm not asking a favor. People say you have to be patient, you have to buy some pieces you don't like to be in the list for other pieces. And at one moment, I mean, there is a lot of customers that say, come on, please.
Yeah.
we, we have better. We have some other things to do, and probably better.
Mm-hmm. Laurent, you have been one of the most important promoters of independent brands. As you
Mhm.
have said, you have helped a lot of brands to be more well known in the sector. How do you see the evolution of independent watchmaking from the fathers of the independent watches like Vianney Halter that we have interviewed, Philippe Dufour, Kari Voutilainen that also we are going to interview, to the new independent brands like, for example, Peter Vedat, Sylvain Verneron that we have interviewed, or Anoma that is just recently born. How do you see the evolution, the
I
change?
think, this is always the same story, that at one moment we have all, I mean, quite often the feeling that, okay, everything was done. And I remember 2 years and a half meeting Sylvain Berneron, and after 15 minutes, he just showed me the drawing on the little files, and I told Sylvain, okay, I'm ready to do whatever you want. I'm in love with that.
Yeah,
Of course,
great watch. Yeah, great
I
design.
ordered the really first white gold one. Soon I will receive it.
Hmm.
And I told him, okay, if you want investor, if you want retailer, if you want whatever you want. But finally, he's doing his own way, and so the surprise of the, I mean, new people is always coming. I receive every year minimum 15 different people coming with a new project. Well, sometimes they make me afraid or even scary, because they say, "Wow, I'm absolutely not convinced, and I'm and I feel stressed out for you because I don't believe in it." And sometimes there is, of course, a little less, but sometimes there is fantastic surprise like Berneron. So I think the future is always positive, because you always have people who try to think differently, whatever the level of the watches, of course. I mean, it could be expensive or not expensive. At the moment, I feel that there is a lot of, reasonable pieces with low prices that exist, with a fantastic character, fantastic identity, fantastic design. When I see Manuel Emsch at the project of Colloquium, I say, "Wow, I want to carry the brand. It's super cool. It's a fantastic idea." So there is always new. So I'm quite confident. Every year we we carry more brands, which is totally unreasonable, because we already got like 30 or 32 brands, and I don't know how many will be next year, but I think it's really I mean, this is a positive feeling for me. I mean, I believe in independent, and my opinion, it won't be finished. Ever, because there is always ideas.
Mhm. We have seen that you have helped Richard Mille, you have helped Max Busser with MBNF, the rebirth of H. Moser and Sia. Who do you see will be the new independent brands of the future? As you have said, you have many proposals. Maybe you have the crystal ball to tell us a little bit that who do you think will be the next independent of with success?
It's really difficult to say.
Yeah.
Honestly. uh, no, after this is also, this is first. uh, a piece could be successful, a brand could be successful, but after, you have to entertain. So a second one, you the example of Berneron is interesting. Okay, what would be the second piece?
Hmm.
Okay, so we know already a little about that.
Yeah.
uh, but what will be the third one, etc. So we hold, so in the past, people, first, this is a question of people, because
Hmm.
we also have all the experience to saw people coming to a dead brand, make it fantastic again, and we saw also the opposite. I mean, you can destroy a brand quite quickly, and most of the time, this is not a question of money. This is really a question of feeling.
Hmm.
So for the independent of the future, it's very difficult to say, because it takes time. Sometime you cannot expect, even after 5 years of existence, what will be the next step, if it will be successful or not. So it's really a question of philosophy, of ethic of the company. I mean, a lot of different parameters. So I've difficulty to answer the question. To I mean, all the new brand that I carry, I believe in it, of course, but it's very difficult to be precise, to say, okay, they will be in the top
Hmm.
10 of the future. And this is also, and in my opinion, this is not also with a financial ranking,
Mhm.
because there is very little company who do fantastic stuff, and this is not the question. They are in the top 20 of the turnover of the business.
Mhm.
So I won't be really able to answer.
Mhm. I have to recognize that MBNF for me is one of my favorite independent brands, not only for the design that I love, also because I think that Max, his personality is amazing. He is the CEO and also the communication manager. He's so open. But what does it mean for you, for Chronopassion, to have partnered with Max, with MBNF, to open the MBNF lab 2.5 years ago?
Well, I know Max since 33 years. It was, I mean,
When he was a kid, when he was a kid.
not a kid, but
But almost.
it was just starting at Gégère Lecoultre.
Hmm.
And we spent an afternoon in the shop because Henri John Belmont told Max, okay, you have to visit Laurent. It could be interesting. Okay. So we spent a half day. And of course, I follow him after that, especially with the Harry Winston adventure. And the opus was a fantastic idea to be collaborate with different independent shoemaker. And this is funny also that some of them start to be successful later on.
Hmm.
uh, Max introduced me to your work at that time, and we help them also, and we start the brand right away, almost at the beginning. And when he created the brand, when he quit I Winston, I I call Max and I say, "What are you doing?" I say, "Okay, now I'm doing my own way." Okay, I say, "I want to carry the brand." He say, "You didn't see a single piece." I say, "I don't care. I know you. I know
Hmm.
what you're able to do." He say, "You nuts." No, 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 no. I'm ready. Finally, we did it. Of course, when I saw the HM1, I was like, "Ooh, won't be so easy."
Yeah.
But finally, we sold the first HM1 of the MBNF story, and the maturity come quite quickly, and and until today, I mean, MBNF is probably my favorite brand too,
Hmm.
because there is no limit about creation. And we go back to what I told you before, meaning, okay, sometimes it's a white page, and it could be a bulldog, it could be the HM11 architect, it could be whatever. So the surprise is always at the meeting. And on the other hand, uh, 21 calibers in 19 years is amazing. There
Yeah.
is a lot of institutional brand that they could be ashamed, especially when we talk about the sequential chronograph, which is a fantastic revolution. Especially when we talk the courage from Stephen McDonald to go against a century of watchmaking about the perpetual calendar, and with a fantastic result that you can set it in 20 seconds on the morning, and
Hmm.
there is not a lot of other case like that. And also, this is a family. I mean, Max Busser in France is the definition, meaning, I mean, customers, makers, retailers. I mean, and I told him not a long time ago that finally, and even if we can say I'm not objective, but I really feel that most of, I mean, 100% of the people who are wearing an MBNF are cool people. There
Thank
is
you.
no, there is no, there is no question,
Yeah.
because it's a process. Of
Yeah.
course, you probably won't buy an MBNF as a first watch.
For
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah.
but same that you won't buy a Formula One as a first car. But it's an initiation. It's a long process, and for a lot of people, and we got the case actually. We got we got a customer who are, he used to be in that kind of process, institutional. He went to the independent through Grubble, and finally, when he discovered MBNF, he told me, "I want to be the bigger collector of MBNF because every parameters of what I like is in the same brand, and this is not one with the red dye, the blue dye, whatever. There is every year novelty. I mean, real novelty."
Mhm.
So
In those more than 30 years, most probably you will have any memorable experience or anecdote that maybe is funny. Can you tell us something? Don't tell the person, but maybe the anecdote.
so many stories. Um, I don't know. Uh, we well, okay. One day, one rock star and one rock star of the fashion business, they were they did something like um, buying watches as a contest between the two,
Hmm.
and they come to the shop, and it was quite funny because you can feel through the background they have, um, the selection they did, and at the end of the selection, they say, "No, I'm sorry, it's not the good selection." The, so I did the selection for them, and finally, I mean, it was crazy in terms of business because they buy their selection and my selection. So
Hmm.
it's always also a kind of game with the customer. We can spend hours. I mean, they can spend hours in the shop. We can we I mean, for people who are not concerned, they said that they crazy people.
Hmm.
But same story if you go in a motorbike concentration, people could spend the whole week to to speak about the engine and the reference and whatever. So it's always like a small world of nuts people concerned to one subject. But we got we got people that they could spend. I mean, I remember one customer in the past used to spend much more time with the head under the table with a loop, looking at the watch like that. Uh, and after 10 minutes, which is or 15 minutes, which is very long, I said,
Hmm.
okay, everything is okay. And without a movement, these customers say, I hope. so, so we got and this customer, for example, used to change 7 times a day of watches because he
Wow.
say he say now I got like 1,000 watches. If I'm just changing every day,
Yeah.
it's 3 or 4 years to
Yeah.
go back to the first. So because of that, I mean, the rules start to be, of course, really strange. But I mean, it doesn't bother the people. This is
Hmm.
just the disease you got, and for me, it was normal. I said, okay. So I was at the breakfast with him. He was wearing a Silberstein. At 10 o'clock, he got a Patek, and at 12 o'clock, he was with something else. And it's and this is also why, and I start with that. For me, this is this is a lot of. I mean, the passion that we have is very close of a kid passion.
Yeah.
And this is toys, of course, for adults because most of the time this is not an expensive, but I think this is, when we were, I mean, for our generation, when we were kids, going to school with a watch, in one moment we change. So the day before we don't have a watch. The day after we come to the school with a watch.
Mm-hmm.
Proud, telling the time every minute, playing with the chronograph. And finally, even if you got, 50 years later, this is the same proudness. This is the same joy. Uh, we can feel that, of course, you won't go out of the school and continue to tell the time to the people and show the watch. But finally, not really far, meaning that we got customers 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. They went out. This is I don't know how many watch they got already. They got the new watch. They feel cool. They go to a meeting, and you can see that they got something new for the people who know they addict about this subject. So
Yeah.
finally, we still kids, and this is like the Madeleine de Proust. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
finally, it's always for me. We always go back to the moment that we were a kid with the first new watch, and of course, even if this new watch was a cheap one most of the time, it's a fantastic souvenir. So
Mm-hmm.
we still running on that way, even if now the watches are more important compared
Mm-hmm.
to when we were kids.
Yeah. One question: you have helped, as you have said, a lot of brands to start almost from zero. Why you have never thought about having your own brand?
Many reasons. First of all, at my opinion, if you want to do your own brand, you have to live in Switzerland first. I was not ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, you have to travel quite a lot to see most of the retailers and the distribution network. And I was not ready for that too.
Mm-hmm.
and 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 honestly, I really prefer to collaborate with the brands, whatever the size of the brand. I'm much more concerned to be part of a team than to be at the lead of a project as a brand, at my opinion. So I'm much more efficient, at my opinion, to be with people with a team already involved compared to be at the beginning of a brand project.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the the other point is well, it doesn't bother the fact that I mean I'm still um, concerned to be shareholder of brands. I study a lot of files, uh, and and I don't talk about that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting for me to be involved sometime, even if the people don't know it.
Mm-hmm. Great, great. Uh, what would be your advice for I know that independent brands are for more for you have to, as you have said, to start from the main street brands
Mm.
and then go into the independent brands. But what would be your advice, as you are the master of the person with more knowledge about independent brands? What would be your advice for a client to start with an independent brand collection?
Honestly, most of the time I say follow your feeling. Of course, do not hesitate to ask questions to the people who know,
Mm-hmm.
to the brand themselves, but also other people like us or you, or I mean, people concerned, and make your own recipe. But
Mm-hmm.
follow your feeling. And my first advice generally, we got some people that they come in the shop and they have no idea of what we do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They, it could be at Chronopassion or on the MBNF lab. And so we ask, okay, do you know independent brands? If the guy say no, okay, look and come back to me if there is
Mm-hmm.
something that you have questioned or you are impressed about the design, which is the first step, of course. And after a brief tour, most of the time they say, okay, I don't understand. What is it, Response? Or what is it, Singer? Or I don't understand the HYT. What is it, etc. And we start to be focused on it. I mean, not only on the technical specification and what is it and how it works, because of course this is important, but also who are they, when they start, what is the goal, what is the philosophy of the brand, what is the project for the future, etc. So we try to help the people to be a little more, I mean, to get more knowledge on what's going on. But we always also said to them, okay, this is our point of view. We don't have the truth.
Mm-hmm.
This is our feeling. So you have to complete this feeling with website, other people, to try to be um, able to follow your mind. But the feeling, at my opinion, is the best, because initiation process, and we all had that in the past. At the beginning, the watches that I bought is, I mean, I'm fed up with the watches of the beginning most of the time.
Yeah.
So the evolution's going because knowledge, because sensibility, eyes, etc., progress. So I say first, follow your feeling, and there is also people that they just fall in love. They don't care. They
Mm-hmm.
don't want. I mean, they some of them they don't even want to know. I mean, first, we got some time people they just come inside and say, "What the fuck? What is it? It's fantastic. I don't know this brand, but this is amazing." Okay, we try to explain. I guess. Okay, first of all, I want to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see later. Well, it's not often, but it arrived, and so it's really the question of the feeling. I mean, one more time. I mean, the sensation, the passion. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
of course, the design it participates. I mean, this is the first see the first point. You see the watch, you say, "Oh, I don't like it," or "I like it." Well, we always try to just say also to the people, um, try it on the wrist, because if you see an BNF Bulldog, you can feel it's not wearable.
Yeah.
And after 10 minutes on the wrist, say, ah,
It's so cool.
it's so cool. Okay, I didn't expect that it was wearable at that point. So it's quite important to try the watch on the wrist. I mean, the picture is a picture. Even the watch in the hand is something, but on the wrist, this is really the time you can judge if it is
Mm-hmm.
if it is I mean, interesting to go further.
Mm-hmm. Laurent, just my final question. I have to recognize that your boutique is like paradise for the lovers of independent brands.
Okay.
I recommend our viewers and followers to visit you. But for those that may not know where is Chronopassion?
Chronopassion is in the center of Paris, near Place de la Concorde. So this is 271 Rue Saint-Honoré. And well, actually, with the Olympics, it's a mess. I can tell. It's quite difficult to go from one point to the other in the city. But we're here since the beginning. It was
Mhm.
really the location that I choose because it was part of I mean, even if it changed a lot in 35 years, but we are probably one of the last independent. I mean, we are now all around international big brands from different luxury groups. But we and people, some people that we follow since 20, 25 years, when they come to shop, say, "Hey, you still here?" And this is also one reason that to do something else on a brand. I mean, at my opinion, a single shop is interesting, but you have to be in the shop. I mean,
Mhm.
I got a fantastic team. There is no doubt and no problem about that. But you have to be there because you have always some details you want to try, some service you want to create, and especially today, or because there is a lot of I mean, the service process in a lot of different company is very square. I mean, it
Yeah.
could be good, but it's like with I mean, feeling is not participating or in the process, and because we got a lot of people who know a lot, it's very important for us to be very open on the what we say.
Mhm.
We are really direct. We are not in the corporate recitation of okay, the brand, the logo, blah blah blah. No, we because we participate at all the story.
Mhm.
So we can talk deeply of what used to be the beginning of this one, what was the trouble of the other one, what was the big change and the big success of the other one. So so this is I mean, it make the difference quite a lot.
Mhm. Laurent, thank you so much for being with us. It has been an amazing, very
Thank you.
interesting, and funny interview. I hope to see you soon, and anytime that you want to talk again for the viewers and followers of the Double Firma, Double Stamp, will be more than pleased to have you here. Thank you,
With a
and
big
have a nice
pleasure,
day.
with a big pleasure, and we wait you at Chronopassion next time.
Thank you. I hope that you enjoy the Olympic Games.
We'll see. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Have a
Bye
nice day.
bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you
Bye.
again.